I just have to start like I almost always do by just saying, I feel your love. Thank you so much. You know, thinking about doing this is one thing, and then feeling your love just dissolves any mortal thoughts. So thank you so much. All right, so last week, and there's so many people in this room that I love that I can hardly contain myself, but I will. So last week we talked about how often we mistake our source of abundance as anything other than God. We look to our job, maybe our spouse or our relationship, maybe our parents, possibly the government, possibly the stock market, anything other than the true source of our supply. You know, we accept and know that Spirit is our source, but do we really believe it? How many of you at one time or another have found yourself kind of trapped on a hamster wheel, feeling like the situation that you're in is needed in order for you to be able to afford whatever it is you need? Maybe you're trapped in a job or in some kind of other situation that you feel is the source of your financial supply. It's like you are working for your finances instead of your finances working for you. I've been there, and the people in this room who have known me for a long time know that. So towards the end of my experience as a foster parent, I was feeling like I was done with it. But that was years before I actually was done with it. I asked for prayer for probably 2 or more years to help me figure out, because, see, we had this big house with a big mortgage, which the foster care income paid for the mortgage, but the house was the place for the foster kids, and so was this vicious circle. I felt like I was trapped on a hamster wheel, and I could not figure out how to get off of the wheel. And so, as I've shared other times before, you know, Spirit has that nudge, and then Spirit has the old cosmic 2x4. And so, towards the very, very end of my foster parenting, we had a boy that was living with us that was a little on the hostile side. And we were thinking of selling our house, so we were planning to have a realtor come over and look at our house just to give us an idea of what he or she thought we could do with the house. And so we told all the kids, and we told this boy, we need you to clean your room because we're having this realtor come over. And this particular boy was getting ready to go on a week-long vacation to visit his grandma. And so I knew he was leaving the next day, and I went and checked his room the night before, and it was just a complete wreck. And so I told him, you know, if you don't clean your room, Larry and I are going to have to clean it for you. And so please clean your room. He literally pushed me out of the doorway and slammed the door in my face. Now, my mortal mind wanted to bust through that door like a tiger. But God in me said, go to bed, Susan. And that's what I did. I let it go. So the next morning arrived, and he left on his trip. And Larry and I proceeded to go in and start cleaning out that room. About halfway through, Larry said to me, hey, come here, I want to show you something. And he showed me a knife with a 13-inch blade that was stashed between the bed and the wall. And this was not even a kitchen knife. This was like a killing knife. This was a dagger. And when I saw that knife, I knew, no more hamster wheel. I'm jumping off the hamster wheel. And so we did. We put our house on the market immediately. So, you know, at the time, if I had Tasha Silver's book to refer to, I would have enjoyed this prayer that she wrote called, it's the prayer for transforming money. And it goes like this. Okay, God, open me. I'm ready. I don't want the exhausting burden of this topic anymore. I am done. Open me to whatever I'm meant to receive from this sacred process. Help me let go of any old beliefs and feelings that get in the way of your plan for my life. May I know the good I can do as an embodiment of divine abundance. That would have helped me a lot. Now, if you've been around science of mind for any amount of time, you're familiar with the 5 steps of treatment. And if you're new to this teaching, we use the word treatment the same as the word prayer. The 5 steps of treatment are not meant to instruct God as to what you want, because Spirit, which you are one with, already knows your heart's desire. Eric Butterworth, in his book, Spiritual Economics, puts it this way. In the great unity of all life, when you have a need, the answer is already moving on its way towards you. Before you formulate a desire in mind, it is God in you desiring. Before you have an urge to do something or embark upon a project, there is a moving of Spirit in you, prompting you in that direction. And I know that Laura and the Seed of Awakening Journal people know exactly what that is all about. So prayer treatment is meant to get us to the place where we not only know it, but we believe it. We believe what we are praying for is true. So the Grand Canyon Skywalk is this horseshoe-shaped glass bridge that juts out 70 feet from the wall of the Grand Canyon and offers a view straight down 4,000 feet to the floor of the canyon below. Knowing that it is perfectly safe is one thing, but believing it is what gets you to step out. So the 5 steps of treatment allow you to build that belief, the absolute conviction that your heart's desire is manifesting. So the first step is recognition, and that is where we say God is all there is. There is only one. There's only one source. That's recognition. Unification is the second step, and that is where we say, since God is the creator of all there is, then I must be that. I am a creation of that one. So God and I are one. That's unification. Realization is where we speak affirmatively about whatever is up. So an example, if I was treating for someone who was going to have a surgery, let's say, I would say, in the realization step, I would say, I know that the surgery has already occurred in the mind of God, and it was flawless. It was perfect. I know that every person that has anything to do with this surgery is operating from the divine mind. They are having the best day they ever had in their job or their life. And I know that everything occurs smoothly and perfectly and beautifully. That would be the realization step of my prayer. Now comes thanksgiving. You know, it's a lot more than saying, thank you, God. Thanksgiving is where I think this is the most important step, because this is where I give thanks for the result. So the result of the person who had the perfect surgery is complete health, complete flow, joy, ease, comfort, the feelings that you have. That's the end result, and that's what comes in the Thanksgiving portion. So you're thankful for the good that the experience has brought. And then we release. And when we release our prayer, we just say we know that the divine law is in action right now, and that the demonstration is done, and so there's nothing else we need to do. And so it is. That's the prayer. So your finances pay for things, experiences, etc., that bring about feelings that you want to have. Rarely is money the end-all and be-all. It's how you will feel when you have the thing that you desire. So let's just take a moment, if you feel like this. Close your eyes for just a second? What I want you to do is think about something that you want money to be able to afford. Whatever it is, it could be big or small. Just picture that thing. See it in your mind's eye. What does it look like? How do you feel knowing that you have that thing? What is it that you really want? What is the end goal of this thing that you need money for? Just take a moment and feel how that feels. Now open your eyes. So money may be the vehicle, but the destination is something very different. It's joy, it's peace of mind, it's comfort. I'm reading a wonderful book right now called The Ernest Holmes Papers. It's a collection of transcripts of lectures that Ernest presented during the last few years of his life. And there's a story in this book that provided me with a huge breakthrough in my perspective as a board member and office administrator here at Awakening Ways. Ernest was working with a board from a church in Santa Monica, California, that was trying to raise money for a building, a new building. And this is what he said to the members. Now, I want to tell you, first of all, these are Ernest Holmes' words speaking to people. This is nothing that he wrote. This is what he spoke. And I included all of it because I really want you to know how he spoke. He said, "I'll show you how to treat it, and this is the way I would like you to treat it every day this week. We are speaking definitely and specifically for this particular location, the Santa Monica Bay Women's Club, the next 4 Sundays, and after that, right along. Certain notices have gone out. They will be in the papers. People have spoken about it, telling each other about it. And we know that place will be full and running over, that every person who has received this notice, whom we can benefit, will be there. Every person who has been told about it, who can be benefited by being there, will be there. Every person who reads about it, who can be benefited by being there, will be there. We know there is a consciousness of healing, a consciousness of wholeness and happiness and well-being, a consciousness of love and friendship and unity and security and peace, which everyone feels and knows and understands because it belongs to everyone. Now we know that as people sit there, they find themselves healed of all unhappiness, of all sorrow, of all grief, of all loneliness, of all confusion, of all doubt. This word which we now speak is present and active in this group, doing and being and accomplishing and becoming exactly what is in our mind now. Therefore, it cannot fail to operate. It is present, active, healing, renewing, vitalizing, filled with goodwill and good cheer and love, and filled with beauty and harmony. It embraces the audience in light, and that is the way it is. Wow. Wow. Do you notice one thing that was not spoken in Ernest's prayer? He never mentioned money. He never mentioned finances, resources, need, or anything like that. He prayed for the end result, for the wonderful results that would occur for the people who showed up. Honestly, why do we have church? Why are we here? We are here for those things, that love, that peace, the healing. We are here because we radiate that in our circles, with our families and our friends. That's why we are here. Holmes left the financial needs of the church in the hands of God to deliver in ways beyond anyone's dreams. And deliver it did. So when you treat for abundance or any other thing and you reach the thanksgiving step of the treatment, focus on the end result, which is the feeling of peace, joy, satisfaction, safety, whatever that brings about. Embody the feelings and strengthen your belief, and your belief is what brings about the manifestation. And how it comes to you is left up to spirit. When Larry and I took that leap of faith and we sold our house and moved into our motorhome, we began to feel the feelings we had been longing for. Peace of mind, joy, ease, well-being. Even though we went from a big house on 11 acres to about 350 square feet in a motorhome, we were living in the divine flow. And speaking of living in the divine flow, I had a friend who used to come to Awakening Ways. She's passed on now. Her name was Julie. Julie and I became friends. I befriended Julie because I noticed her sitting by herself, and I was drawn to sit next to her, and I became her friend. Julie and I used to go to a prayer group once a month that was an Awakening Ways experience. We used to meet, and we would pray for one another. We would make a prayer request, and then we would pray for the month, and then we would meet back later, and we would share what the results were from those prayers. And so in those prayer requests, Julie typically asked for money. I mean, straight out. Like, I need a new transmission on my car, or I'm having trouble paying my rent, or I can't afford cat food, whatever it was. And, you know, we pray for what people ask for. It's not our job to decide what to pray for. So we prayed for money for Julie. But I remember one time when we got back together and we shared about how our month went, Julie said, you know, I went and I ordered a sandwich from this restaurant. And when the sandwich arrived, it was the biggest sandwich I ever saw in my whole life. It was huge. And in fact, it gave me 2 meals worth of food. And I just couldn't believe how big that sandwich was. Now, when Julie said that, I knew that something had shifted within her, that she was seeing her abundance in ways beyond dollars and cents. Now, I stayed friends with Julie till the end of her life, and in the last couple years of her life, she lived in a assisted living home here in Atascadero, very close to the pavilion. So I used to go over there after church, and I would sit with Julie, and we would recall how her week had been. And we always ended with me asking Julie, what would you like me to pray for you? And in the last couple years of Julie's life, she would look at me every time, and she would say, you know, I'm good. I'm good. But you know, that lady in the room next to me, her husband passed away, and she's been crying a lot. Could we pray for her? So I thought I was in Julie's life for Julie, but I was so wrong. Julie was in my life for me, because it doesn't get any better than that. That is a life well lived. So I would like to invite the band to come on up. I'll try to get myself composed. Ooh. Let's take a breath. Take a little breath. Okay, so the call to action this week. This is number 1. Spend some time really thinking about journaling or even talking with others about what you really want, knowing that whatever is needed to bring that about is already on its way to you. Number 2, every day visualize how you will feel when you have that thing. And number 3, allow yourself to feel so filled up with goodness that your prayer is for someone else, knowing that their joy, their comfort, and well-being is the result. And so since I'm on the trend of Ernest Holmes today, I decided to end with a treatment from Ernest Holmes. It's an affirmative prayer, and it's written in the first person, so when I say I, just embody that and know that that is you, that I is you. So if you would, just close your eyes, and let's just take a couple of deep breaths. Let's breathe in and out, and one more, in and out. Knowing the truth leads me into a more abundant life. Today, I affirm that with God, all things are possible. I am conscious that the reality of my being is not separate from the divine. I am not only one with God, God is also one with me and one in me. Deliberately, I turn to this inner self, knowing that it has no problems. It is never poor, sick, weak, or unhappy. Persistently, I practice the divine present. I enter the gates of good with praise and thanksgiving, finding joy and fulfillment in everything I do. Complete prosperity is mine. Good is forever flowing, eternally manifesting itself to me. My good flows to me from every source because I recognize all sources as divine. My hands open to receive and remain open that they may give out and thus multiply the divine gifts. Today, everything in my experience is made new. Today, I expect and accept only good. And so it is.